Thorough indeed. I'll sooner meet a cat wizard than see that merchant repaid.
Come now, I'll be good for it, I swear. Oh, my story's tired by now. I was happy enough, prosperous enough, before these lean times around Sicil began. Still, that doesn't waive a man's need to eat, you know. I never would have dreamt of resorting to petty theft during better times, but what choice have I got now? If it's steal or starve, I'll choose steal. So what do you think? Should I snag a fish?
Watch the undead quiver in their mouldy boots.
Let's see. Halibut, sheep's cheese, tomatoes.
Everyone needs a hand now and then. Take the fish, and none but us will be any the wiser.
True enough. Without a bit of charity now and then, the world would be a far crueler place.
That's the spirit! Or should I say, the soul?
It's my fish! He took my fish!
Sir, did you just steal that fish?
No, I paid for it. The merchant just left, but I paid. I paid before.
You were a witness to this event now? Tell me what happened.
This man is telling the truth. He paid for that fish fair and square.
Quite so. I saw him pay the merchant.
I can't thank you enough for your, discretion. I'll be going now.
Well, sorry to have bothered you then, sir. Carry on.
That thief is free for now, but I wonder how long it'll be until his growling belly seduces him back onto the crooked path. I can understand your sympathy for that man, but feeding him for one day will hardly remedy his circumstances. You would have done better to help him more substantially than by covering up a single petty theft.
Let's see. Halibut, sheep's cheese, tomatoes.
I give milk. I give wool. And what do I get in return? One way or another, they always try to fleece me. Especially that Evelyn. She's out to get me. I know it. Meh.
The earth here seems to have been freshly fertilized and aerated. Obviously, someone has taken great care to maintain this gravesite. Are you sure you want to disturb it?
We and our shovels will do as we please.
That's right. Let's get digging.
As you prepare to break ground, you gaze at the dirt beneath your feet once more.
All right, time to get digging.
Here's hoping we find something worthwhile.
You plunge your shovel into the earth.
This is wrong. We shouldn't disturb this grave.
Right you are. It would have been a terrible misdeed.
You step away from the grave.
Don't disturb Master Thelyron now. He's been so busy with his research, the poor dear hasn't had a proper night's sleep in months.
Bloody hell,
mix here with too much wormwood.
To what do I owe the repeated pleasure, Source Hunter? The world belongs to the young, they say, and Boris will live to take his piece. Thank you for your help in this matter. Far be it from her to tell her master what in the seventh name she's up to. The girl flew from here like she just heard the location of the Philosopher's Stone. She even left her pouch unattended in the next room. Most unlike her, to be sure. She usually keeps it within sight at all times. Very strange she'd leave it behind. It's in the next room if you'd like to take a look. I'd try her house, for starters. It's not far from here. I'll mark the location on your map.
Tread silently. Strike viciously.
That tone, soothing a corpse's troubled mind. Can't have gotten far.
The seven grant abundance.
Ready to advance, ready to defend.
I know it's somewhere. I only want to ruin this particular batch of party eggs. Too much wormwood. You realize soon enough that a little politics are bigger worms and grave responsibilities.
I said myself, if I don't start
Steady,
early,
boys.
I'll
We'll be leaving as soon as we're packed up. Good on you. These boss men respect confidence, you know. So what do they say?
Well, what does it matter? Unbelievable! You watched your brethren be slaughtered while you twiddled your thumbs?
Well, were our orders to guard the bridge or not?
Look! A wanderer comes my way, walking the sands upon which this poor shell must suffer. Call me Ishmael, son of the sea, an outcast upon these wretched shores. An exiled shell, doomed to live under a canopy of arid sky, not his native, tender water. Of course I can talk. Don't be silly. There's more tongue to me than heart. Indeed, the surprise should be mine, for I still remember the days when your kind swung from branches and plucked the vermin out of their neighbor's fur. Time is an indulgent mistress to one who spends happy hours as she passes. But when your existence is one of misery, she becomes a lethargic harpy. Oh, I remember ancient times, for I have lain here since antiquity, when the ruins around us were palaces, and the sun-bleached dead merry children. All this I have seen, alive, alone, alas. My fate is a cruel one, I assure you. How many snot-noses have held me up against their dirty little ears, only to claim they can hear the ocean? Of course they can hear her, the brats. We are on the very edge of the great aquatic mother, whose embrace I so desperately long for. Yes, yes, I, King of Pearls, ache to repose anew on his coral throne. Hurl me toward the water. Swing me as far as your arm's strength gives lease, and treasure long sunk I will grant thee. What do you say, kind knight? Will you return the King of Pearls to the sea, so he may yield you long-lost treasure?
Kindness is its own reward. And then there's the promise of treasure to boot.
Agreed. Let's send him home.
Liberator, kind benefactor, bless me the might of your sea-bound pitch. The sea, I have returned, where every wave feels like a mermaid's kiss. May the bounty of the deep be yours, along with my eternal gratitude.
Aaron has as many friends as the man with many cheeses.
she's got a lair on the beach, does she?
Perhaps that's where she stashed Jake's body.
To the zombie problem than a set of silver arrows.
Lonesome, spiritless, perhaps.
Source hunters, eh? All right, if you've got a favourite sheep, that louse. Did he even bother grilling a single luscious chop? I bet he wasted every last morsel. Captain Aureus will have a thing or two to say about this.
This is intolerable. The momentum of time is slipping through our hands, and you fritter it away on conversations about decomposing mutton. Focus, Source Hunter, focus!
You don't think it's infected, do you?
Come on now, I pulled her off you before she could do any real damage.
Mr. Head Honcho Legionnaire, the Source Hunter says that creep Robert stole my sheep.
And?
Well, aren't you going to arrest that stinking thief?
I'll have a talk with him, madam. Oh, what now? Whom would you have the Legion arrest?
The cretin's question crossed her lips and ached an air of aptitude.
Hey, Tull, I think that was an insult.
Don't pay attention to the beast, Furious. You'll only encourage it.
Never saw you in the king crab before. You're welcome to scratch me behind the ears if you like. I won't scratch back. I am Unsinkable Sam. At least that's what they call me around here. Used to be a ship's cat, but the clipper I was on sank, and I was the only one to wrestle himself free from the waves. The people here were kind and took me in. Been the king crab's foremost patron ever since. A magnificent ship she was. Used to belong to a pirate, I was told. Unlike me, she didn't prove to be unsinkable, though. We hit the cliffs right neath the lighthouse. Not very apt a name for that building, I must say, for no light was shining from it. The moment I hit the water, I writhed around like I would on a hot tin roof. By some miracle, I managed to reach the beach, covered in kelp and smelling worse than a fish's funeral parlor. But I was alive, and that was more than anybody else could say. So I was. What friends I had. They drowned alongside the rats I used to hunt in the galley. And there I was, all alone. Not that I have it bad here, mind you. I've milk and fish aplenty. Most folks will pet me kindly, and when one of the village girls holds me tight against her ample bosom, I purr up a storm. But I do long for a companion of my own kind, and in that regard, there is no one like Maxine. Maxine, the mayor's darling pet. So gentle, so fair a feline. The grace of her whiskers, the subtle palette of dyes in her sable coat. She's one of a kind, that cat. She likes me. I know she does. But when I declare my love, she backs away. I don't know why. I have serenaded her and braved many a bucket of water for my efforts. But for some reason, she is not to be swayed. By all means. People make a fuss about them because they endanger the lands around the city. They never bother me when I'm out for my monthly walk, though. But still, I do detest them. I mean, they're so unnatural, aren't they? Cats can have 9 lives, but humans are only entitled to 1. Oh, don't mention orcs to me. Worse than dogs, that lot. Sank Walrus Willie's boat right from under him. Best anchovy fisher in the world he was. A loss to us all.
That purring sound. Mind control vibrations, I'm sure. Don't be seduced, comrades.
That cat is a miracle of creation. Don't you dare befoul it with your moronic delusions.
Oh, golly gosh! One who flaunts the highways and byways of silly old Cecile with the easy elegance of a puss with her tail in the air. I do declare such a sight is rather rare around here. But where are my manners? I am Maxine, and you must be one of those hunters one hears so much about. Charmed, I'm sure. I'm the mayor's cat, don't you know? Born and raised on velvets and viands of most exquisite varieties. Maxine rhymes with queen, after all, and dearest. That is hardly a coincidence. Oh, he's a darling old Tom, isn't he? Paws over tails in love with me, and who can blame him? The feeling's, well, it's rather mutual, actually. But that pet of a puss simply doesn't have a penny to his name. At the risk of sounding as shallow as a spaniel, I can't but admit my love does not come unconditionally. What if we were to have kittens, he and I? They'd jolly well starve, wouldn't they, with an alley cat for a papa? Oh, dear Sam, he's such a good old bean. But he does rather reside at the bottom of the scratching pole, doesn't he? And dear me, one must have at least a mite of standards. But of course, darling, be my guest. Oh, this quaint little town is a tad too parochial for one of my more urbane tastes. But one has to make do, hasn't one? The fresh sea air does go to great lengths to invigorate one's spirit, that much I'll admit. And it is rather jolly to watch the ships sail in laden with all kinds of exotic wares, full of the little treats the mayor likes to spoil me with. Darling man, he dotes on me so. Heavens forbid! No, fear is rather too strong a term there, hunter dearest. The predator's instinct is a trait we share, you and I, and though those rancid ramblers may not be quite as easy to put to the claw as mice are, I assure you they are just as easily outwitted.
Ah, cats. Such beauty, such grace they have. Magnificence incarnate.
Blanket charm. I wouldn't trust a cat as far as I can throw it, and I'm a world lead cat tosser.
What's with you, bipeds and beer? Aye, so there's the rub. I am but a stray, and she is the mayor's cat. Oh, I do understand her, I do. She wants a Tom of means, not privation. One who brings home the sardines and the occasional halibut. Would that I still had my collar. Such a marvel it was, as bejeweled as the night sky with precious stones, said to have once been worn by a far-off Maharaja's best hunting cheater. Like the king of all cats I looked when I wore it. A gift bestowed upon me by a princess whom I had kept company during a long and perilous voyage. A precious band of gemstones, lost as I was tossed around by the waves like a ball in a game of catch. Among the waves it remains, I imagine. Won perhaps by a crab who fancies himself a Caesar with it. If only I could be the Caesar again, and Maxine my Caesarina.
Saffrons, I dare say.